Every other week, John gets to make the noise. This week, it's a Jimi noise. Hello, everyone.
That was good. I was thinking, game week 4, back after the international break. I
Yay,
don't know why we
football.
expected goals. I don't know why. So many draws, so many 1-0s.
Yeah.
At least there was a couple of good games this weekend.
Top and bottom, I think. I think for me it was the 2-3 or two of the 3-0s. I didn't see enough of Spurs, but the top game and the bottom game are the two to that we had said from the very, very start were the ones to keep an eye on. Arsenal beating Forest 3-0 and City making a mockery of Man United once again 3-0.
And that's why we have been tonight, because we have to do a good in-depth look at the Manchester derby. But Jimmy,
yes,
you've got points.
I've got points. I've got numbers. I love them. I've even started to develop a couple of trends. Because we're 4 weeks in now, and we can start talking about who's where in the longer term. Team of the week this week. No surprises in goals. He's been knocking on the door for a while now. It's Vicario with 20 points. Spurs actually keeping a clean sheet was enough to tip him in. Alongside him, Mickey van de Ven on 30, no less.
Scored a goal, kept a clean sheet.
Yeah. Really good week for Spurs at the back. Christian Romero just about didn't make it in. He was on 26 points because 26 isn't enough to get you in the team of the week at the back at the moment, because from Van de Ven, it dips a little to Sessegnon on 28, which I'm sure John would be delighted about.
I'm delighted about.
Scores whenever he's not on your team.
Every time he's not on my team, he does bits. And I actually did a lot of moving around with my squads this week, and I took about all of them. And I brought in Josh King because I've been waxing lyrical about him for weeks. And he got subbed off again and didn't score. And it was just a sad game of football until a wonderful own goal. Thank you, Gudmundsson, bringing home our first win of the season with that crazy emoji.
Of course, I'd like to point out, just for anybody who watches the numbers more than the filthy, dirty, cheating nature of Fulham, if it wasn't for injury time this year, Fulham would now be on 2 points in the table. Really getting away with it at the death. And I'm not saying it doesn't count, because I'm not an Arsenal fan and I don't rearrange the rules just, for silliness. But Fulham do seem to be getting away with it a lot this year, aren't they?
No, we've been shafted. The game against Chelsea with the 2 decisions, the goal that never was and the penalty, and then the week before that the VAR shafted us again. We score goals in injury time because our subs come on and do bits. Most goals by substitute since the start of last season. They have a team that has 2 players per position. They're not there's no ceiling in the squad, if you get me. They're all grand. But it means that you're
it's the same problem right now.
So, and your man Kevin looks interesting. We like Kevin. Have a piece of Kevin. He likes to run. He's very tricky. He came on for 20 minutes and he was the only exciting bit about that football game. I fell asleep. I actually went for a nap.
Yeah.
I had a breakfast roll and I was feeling groggy at about, 4 o'clock, and I was there catching up on it online in bits and pieces. When you're trying to find the 3 o'clock games and you're patching it all together online from here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah,
days, it was a bad game of football. But anyway, Sessegnon team of the week, many crosses, many things happening. Who else is in?
I'm going to make a prediction now that you're not going to like, but I think it's going to be actually very unusual to see a Fulham player in the team of the week, because, like you said, there's no outstanding player there apart from Anthony Robinson. We wish him a speedy recovery and get back to form soon, please. We've talked about you a lot. Don't let us down this year.
Came back from the bench this week, so just getting back.
Great to see it. Great to see it. But the next 2 names, the next 2 men that made it into the team of the week are 2 lads who we haven't seen really shine a whole pile until now for a long time, but they are absolute stalwarts and they have been at it for a long time, and they're 2 very, very seasoned veterans. Virgil van Dijk on 30 points. Good to see him back. And Kieran Trippier, highest scoring defender this year.
He was done.
Yeah, joint highest scorer for the week this week. Highest scoring defender for the week, 33 points. Absolutely whopper. So fair play to him. I thought he was on the way out. He had a very quiet second half of last year, but he's doing all right now. Moving on to midfield. Oh, I should have said it's a 4-3-3 because the whole thing is getting really weird and defenders are starting to score really, really high at the moment, except for the very, very peak of the strikers, but more on that later. 3 in the middle, Zubimendi. Starting to seriously pay off for everybody's favourite spoofer.
A couple of crackers as well, they scored.
2 bang.
That first one. Yeah, absolutely lethal. Absolutely lethal.
Yeah.
Granit Xhaka for Sunderland in what
We
seems
lo-
to be a
I-
hyperactive 0-0 draw.
There's a thing about Xhaka, right? He's one of these. Do you know what I'd call him? I'd call him a personality player, if you get me. Like, a kind of like a modern day hardman type, if you get me. Like at Arsenal, his career was done. The captaincy was taken off him. He was booed by the supporters coming off the pitch, and
terror for getting the yellow cards.
Like he was giving it back. Like he was giving it back to the fans and stuff like this. His career at Arsenal was done, and then he walked out of there. He walked out of there a couple of years later with the fans singing his name. Like went to Leverkusen, got in the Ballon d'Or list in an undefeated season, and now he's at Sunderland. And out of the 4 games so far, he's been banger in 2. Like
and you know what? He's really got he's super defensive stats wise, super defensive. Like I know he's a DM, but even for a DM. Like where you're seeing him pop up as aerials, passes. Okay, passes as the pivot, fair enough. Nailed on, great pass completion rate. But yeah, Dino, you spotted it all right. Yellows, fouls, plenty of both. So that's the only downside. But he really is. He's looking like even if you're playing next door and you're looking for those silly defensive contribution points from midfield, it probably doesn't cost a whole pile because of who he plays for. He's probably going to let in goals. But remember, he's a midfielder. So after the first one, they're all the fucking same. So everything else he does may make him worthwhile, but keep an eye on him. I don't know how long the Sunderland thing holds, but they're doing.
It's not even that he's one of those players that he'll be busy. He'll get around the pitch. He's one of the guys that, like, in our model, like if you're looking at pickups now because you're going to have players with injuries, you'll have players out of form. A fella that you want to have on your bench to be able to go, do you know what? Half of a Xhaka this week is going to be.
Well, like his next 2 fixtures are Aston Villa, who haven't scored or who haven't won a game yet, have drawn 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's at home. That's a very good opportunity to pick him up. After that, he's got Nottingham Forest. I mean, Nottingham Forest aren't the same Forest who were last year. You know, could definitely pick up points there. And then after that, he's got Man United, and that's a nailed on win right there. So I mean. He's actually probably a very good team player to pick up right now. In fact, I might actually look into him myself.
I wonder if maybe this is an absolutely buy him now, but I'm not going to say the same thing in 4 weeks' time. Like now is the time. Don't
like
wait.
If you're sniffing around in the transfers, 10-team league, you're looking out for a fella that's replacing injured. Like if you have a Kobe Mainoo in your squad right now and he's not getting minutes and he's not getting on the pitch, and you're looking at Granit Xhaka as a free transfer, you go, this is purely fantasy talk. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not talking real ball, but like Xhaka's worth a gander. Who else made the team?
So who else made the team? The third of our midfielders this week is someone I always like seeing do well. It's Moises Caicedo, 31 points, highest scoring midfielder of the week, third highest scoring player overall. Frankly, his points are coming from everywhere. He's got that lovely central midfield thing going on where he's at the back, he's at the front, he's cracking off shots, he's lobbing in crosses, he's getting stuck in, he's making tackles. He's a little bit of everything, which is kind of what you want at Chelsea. I think really only him and Enzo Fernandez.
Which is really interesting with Caicedo because he would have been pigeonholed as a sitting DM. Yeah. A sitting DM.
Yeah, but he's been playing way beyond that. Like he's way beyond. I haven't seen his heat map for the season, but I would imagine it's much lighter colored and wider than last year's.
He's getting around.
He is getting around, man. He's getting around. So that's our 3 in the middle. And then out front on 25 points, a player who, frankly, I wrote off last year because I thought he was too selfish, too self-involved, needed to learn to pass, didn't have the maturity to play in the Premier League. It's Noni Madueke, who seems to be a new man at Arsenal. I think he's probably in his head, he's competing to hold Saka's spot once Saka is 5th, which with points hauls like this and with scoring like he did last week for Arsenal might actually be a runner.
Do you know what that is? When Saka comes back, Saka plays. Gyökeres they spent a lot of money on.
Yeah.
Gyökeres plays. So it's him and Eze on the left. To outperform the guy on the other side, and when Saka comes back, you take that side.
I mean, they spent money on Eze as well.
But the same money, similar money to Madueke, 50 and 65, wasn't it? What was Eze in the end?
I don't know. I thought he was 70, but I know.
Under 70 anyway, so we're not talking
We're not talking super rock stars. Yeah, okay, I feel you. I feel you. It's great to see him do it. He shut me up. Actually, sorry, I'm being awfully complimentary. This is like something that the Arsenal fans are going to hop on, that I'm being kind about them. Ugh. But no, Madueke, he did well. He's looking good. Over on the other wing, not really. It's Semenyo for Bournemouth. Bournemouth played football this weekend.
Yeah.
Won their game 2-1.
Semenyo has been fantastic for them, though, to be fair to them.
Yeah.
Brighton, because that's what happens, Brighton.
Like, do you want to talk about it, Jimmy?
I don't want to talk about it, man. I don't want to talk about it. No, I'm absolutely sure that Brighton will come good any day now. Bournemouth are a wild card of a team, and he is a really dangerous attacker, and any team will struggle to contain
Bournemouth
him.
have been very interesting this season. They've been all right despite the summer fire sale, if you will.
Well, they fucking beat City in the last game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they've done very well considering they sold 4 of their 5 from the back. Like, they also sold Owatro as well to Brentford.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
yeah,
I was just gone, cool. So I'm the man now, am I? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's it exactly. I think with such a skinny squad, it's just basically all going through him.
Yeah.
And it's working beautifully. So he is looking, I don't want to say it too soon because Bournemouth are currently 4th in the table, which will not last. They've won 3 on the bounce. Their next one's Newcastle, who aren't exactly stellar. And I think he's probably looking a bit fixture-proof. So if you need a striker, first of all, what are you doing in Game Week 4 needing a striker? But if you've got someone in your league who doesn't understand the value of a transfer, now is the time to trade your super shiny, I don't know, someone from a big-name team for your smelly old Bournemouth striker, and I guarantee he'll pay off. And finally, out front...
Someone would have drafted a Savinho thinking he was going to Spurs.
That's what you do, a Savinho or a Doku. Someone who's got a shiny jersey, but not actually much by way of point. That's who you trade for a Semenyo. And finally, speaking of Doku and Savinho, 33 points this week, 2 goals. He's the guy we love to hate. But to be fair to him, he does seem to have copped on a bit this year. He's not as much of a bell end as he was last year. It's Erling Haaland, who's looking on for another 25 goals plus season for City, which makes me sad in all of my sad places. But good performance out of him. I will fly through it because it's the team of the year so far. Now that we have 4 weeks, we have trends.
Just give us a quick
rundown
on the quick fire on the.
Right, Vicario's in goals. At the back, it's Van Dijk, Lacroix, and still just about Chalobah. In the middle, Caicedo, Anderson, Xhaka, and Garner. And out front, as of this week, Semenyo, Haaland, and the only player who has managed to stay in the top all year of the year for the last 4 weeks, you're not going to believe it, it's still Cody Gakpo. He's averaging over 20.
Really?
He is still there. He's still there. He's slowed down, but he's still there, which is interesting because all of the talk about Liverpool preseason was that he was the weakest part of it, apart from Robbo. And he's just plugging away every week, no matter who. Like, they have a different one, shiny, doing the goal scoring every week. But Gakpo's always there. He's just
plugging away.
Yeah, he's the one to grab right now. Him and Van Dijk. So there you go. Average score 83.6. Average score this week was really, really high, which means if you're in a league where you're behind and volatility is high, that's good. You can catch up. If you're in a league where you're ahead, you want the points to be low so people can't catch you. But volatility this soon says that things are going to get very interesting and that everything is unpredictable, and we bloody love it. So that's the points.
Where do we want to go?
City United, no?
We did. We said United. We said, do you know what? There's a few games to look at, but I think the Manchester Derby is the obvious place to start. Dino, do you want to talk about it?
I don't know. Is there anything even left to be said anymore? I mean, got a manager who just refuses to change the system to suit the players. You have players who don't know how to work in the system that the manager that wants to work them in. And you've got pretty much every single team that we play against who knows just how to exploit our system. So
what's the problem with the system? Because players
don't know what the players don't know what they're doing. I mean, okay, like after the game. So I read earlier on apparently the board are happy enough are still backing him, and he put it down to injuries. I mean, we were missing Cunha, but we still. That's not a good enough reason, though. I know they had Rodri back in the squad, and Doku had an unbelievable game. If you look at his goal, if you look at his footwork to set up 2 goals, like his first one for Foden, his footwork to get around Shaw was absolutely scandalous. It was beautiful footwork. And Shaw, Roy Keane said at the weekend, he's absolutely stealing and living at this point. He's a nice guy. I kind of always said, he's been riddled with injuries over years and all that, but he's riddled with injuries. He loses fitness. He somehow gets back onto the team, and he still isn't fit. Haaland bullied him off the ball for the second goal, and again, Foden, he scored the first goal. Foden's footwork to get around. I can't remember who got it on, but it was absolutely beautiful footwork to get the ball to Haaland, and Haaland just bullied him off the ball. Like Shaw's a defender, and he was just nowhere to be seen on the pitch. And then if you look at their last goal, we're playing such an outrageously high line. Our entire team, literally our entire team, is in their side of the pitch. There's not the only player on the United side of the pitch was Bayender. And all it took was just one pass to split the defence, and Haaland was gone. You have Rúben, who's playing Fernandes in a more defensive mid role for some reason. I don't know why. He's been our best player for years. He's still somehow getting into fantasy football teams and still one of the highest fantasy football scorers, despite how terrible United have been for years. And then the manager decides, okay, I'm going to completely change your position, and he doesn't know what he's doing in the position because of the system. And then
disagree with all of this, but okay.
You do? Okay.
Absolutely.
But and people are also saying we're playing a 3-4-3. We're not playing a 3-4-3. We're playing a 2-5-3. And it just takes one pass to try and fucking split the defence. Like I said, there's nowhere to be seen. And Mbeumo, in fairness, had a very good game. He almost scored an absolute screamer only for Donnarumma. Donnarumma had a fantastic save with his big 6'5" frame.
He's massive.
Yeah, he's massive. Like I would have loved to have gotten him, but he made the right decision going to City. So yeah, Doku had an unbelievable game. Haaland had an unbelievable game. Foden had an unbelievable game. Obviously, Rodri's back in the squad, and yeah, just United. It just there's no patterns. There's no Gary Neville said it after their game. He was in the studio, and he said that when he used to play in a 3-4-3, when the offensive team went on the attack, they would shift back into a 4-back. But we're not doing that at all. When they start coming attacking us, we're not adjusting the formation, we're not adjusting the tactics or anything that in order to defend. It's just one formation for 90 minutes, whether it's attacking or defending, and it's not. We've scored 4 goals in 4 games. We've scored 4 goals in 4 games in Premier League, and 2 of them were penalties. Mm-hmm. Okay, and if you include the Grimsby game, that's 4 and 5. We've conceded 7. We're minus 13 goals over the course of Rúben's entire tenure. We've won 8 games in 31. 8 games in 31. If you from the day that Rúben started in the Premier League up until yesterday, taking away the 3 teams that were relegated, he's actually bottom of the league. And he refuses. He said in the press conference yesterday he'd rather be sacked before it. I actually think he wants to be sacked. Truly, I do. I don't think he wants to be at Manchester United. He wants to be fired.
Right. So let me ask you 3 questions. Let me go through most of this because I get the frustration and stuff with this. Most shots in the league, highest expected goals, most chances created.
John, did you watch the game yesterday?
I did watch the game.
How many shots did we have on target? We had so many shots that were off target. It doesn't matter how many shots we have. If we're not hitting them on target, it doesn't matter.
So basically, there's 3 problems in the team. They don't have a finisher, they don't have a goalkeeper, and they have nobody in midfield who can run. Those are the same 3 problems that they had last year. They spent a fortune in the summer, and they still have a League One standard goalkeeper. Binder's a League One standard goalkeeper in the discussion. They still don't have a midfielder who can run around the pitch, fact, and they still don't have someone who's good enough to put the ball in the back of the net. Whether you change that to a 4-4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, those 3 problems do not change.
John,
they don't change. The goalkeeper still can't catch a hold. The midfield are running fucking tarmac.
How many goals did Mbeumo and Cunha scored last season? And Sesko as well. And Cunha, we don't have a goal scorer in the team.
Cunha scored all those goals playing in the exact same formation that he's currently playing in. Exact same formation, 3-4-3.
And
Dorgu also had more touches in the opposition box than any player has had in the box against City this season. Dorgu's just shit. The problem is the quality of the player is not there. he's not buying. Amorim's not buying the players here. Remember, are you telling me with any sense of logic that he wanted Lamens over Emi Martinez? Like, there's no manager in football that the club are the ones buying the players here. Like, are you telling me that he would have gone 2 years ago? They bought Haaland. Last year they bought Xerxes. This year they bought Sesko. They bought 3 flavors of the exact same fucking centre forward. Someone who's sub 22. Haaland was 20 when he was signed. Xerxes was 21 when he was signed. Sesko was 22 when he was signed. So they're all fucking 22. They've all scored the same amount of fuck all goals. So why are you buying the same flavour of striker 3 years on the top instead of buying an experience? Buy an Ollie Watt. Like, look at Binder. But where's Binder in terms of the goalkeeper quality in the league? Bottom 3? Bottom 3.
Possibly, yeah. Lower
Bottom 3.
maybe, yeah.
Midfielders, Casemiro's aged out. Ugarte, unfortunately, he's busy, but it's not working for him in the Premier League. Mainu, there's obviously something going on there, and in the game against Grimsby, he was also wank. Bruno's also nearly 32. Like, the idea of him being able to be the box-to-box type number 10 that he was or has been for the last how many years is unrealistic to think that he can do. Like, he's nearly 32 years of age. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's getting on. The idea of him sitting a bit deeper, being able to control the passage of play makes sense. Like, if they could have got a Baliba, who, by the way, has been on the bench for the last 2 Brighton games because he just hasn't been any good. Like, there's players they could have bought and used their money better in the summer. And I'm sure if you asked Amorim, he would have gone, right, midfield, João Palhinha. That deal, oh my God, he's mates with Dallo and Bruno from the international team. He knows the manager because he's also Portuguese. Tick, done. Get that one in the pocket. Instead of spending the money that they spent on Sesko, they could have spent probably 20 million, 30 million less, got a João Pedro, got a Watkins, and they would have got those type of deals done. And in goals, my God, even a Burnt Leno would be better than what they have. And you would have still had 50 million in the bank to play with, but they're gambling on youth, and they're putting like this Lamens young fella, bless him, he's fucked.
Yeah, I don't know what the story with him is.
He's very good, but you're going to. He needs to like when De Gea played. Like, De Gea came into a very good team. This young fella's not, and he's got the pressure of being the Man United number 1, who's going to help them climb back up the table. That's just such a shit. Like, fair fucks to him for going, yeah, I think I'm the guy. Like, you know, you have to give credit where it's due to someone like that who's going to go, yeah, I'll be United's number 1. I'll take that pressure and I'll rock it. Great. I hope he does. Because the other fella will not be playing even in the Championship by this time next year. Like, put any manager into that squad, put any system on that squad. They still don't have someone who can put the ball in the back of the net. They still don't have a goalkeeper who can catch cold, and they still don't have a midfielder who can run around the pitch.
No, I'm disagreeing with you when you say that other players who can put a ball in the back of the net, because again, I do think that
Sesko's not it. Cunha and Bremer will do plenty.
I agree. I agree with Sesko. I agree he's not it, and I wasn't happy with that signing at all. And it also didn't help that they didn't get their first cross into the box until Sesko was actually taken off. Big 6'5" frame and then whatever, and they couldn't get one ball. But like, I mean, that was probably City's tactic. It said, do not let them get balls into that giant inside the box.
Most expected goals. Most expected goals in the league. Most shots. Like, most times hitting the post. They've hit the post 4 times. Anybody else has only hit it 2 times. They have been unlucky in front of goal. Mbuemo and Cunha will click, and that will paper over some of the cracks. The problem there is, as I said, the number 9 hasn't been solved, and the goalkeeper, my fucking God.
Even the defense, man, he's got a different back line every single match. He's got a different defense. You know, he doesn't know what his starting defense is. And yeah, again, like, the midfield is just non-existent. They're just being split so easily. They don't know who to mark in. There's no. Again, I'm looking at Haaland. I know that he's probably the best player in the world or whatever. Like, but his 2 goals were just so easy, especially the second one, the third goal. It was just every single United player was in City's half, and you're playing against the best striker in the world. Like,
to get back in the game. Well, you're 2-0 down. You're trying to get back in the game. You're throwing the kitchen sink.
So here's the thing about that, right? I know little of these strange footballing things, but I like numbers. And it occurs to me that if you're throwing your entire team forward, you would expect that the strategy was based around maybe the premise that your attacking players might score. Here's an unfortunate one. Last season, United scored 44 goals. In the same 38-game period, Mbeumo and Cunha between them scored 35. Now, that's fine. I know that's not the same thing, right? They were playing for two different teams. That's cool. But at 35 goals between the two boys over the season last year, you would be expecting kind of something similar to one of them scoring each week to maintain that at what are ostensibly bigger club like United over Wolves or Brentford.
Will come good though, as I said.
Yeah, except they haven't. That's the thing. We're 4 weeks in, and they have one goal between the two of them, which means they are right now moving at a quarter of the goal scoring pace they were last year. My question is this: why not get the guy in the middle out of the fucking way like the other two teams did?
Because it's been Mason Mount who's been starting
to push them back and score and not score. I know about the creating space thing in the press.
Yeah, but it was Setsko yesterday, and they weren't getting crosses into him, and I don't think he's going to be up to it. But like when you look at the other, as I said, the expected goals, they have the most chances created, they have the most shots on goal, they have the highest expected goals, they have also the most times hit the woodwork. They have hit it 4 times. Everybody else has only hit it once or twice. Therefore, they've hit the post every game, basically.
So are you still backing Rúben?
I don't think it matters who the manager is. I think you have to see it. I think in terms of the off-the-pitch cultural...
So you have no problem with his system at
No.
all? You think that, really, so 8 wins in 31, you think that that's just hitting
Make
the
it a
post?
4-4-2.
You think that winning 8 goals in 31 games, John,
with the assets that team
is just United hitting the post?
With that quality of that team that's actually there, realistically, yes.
So you wouldn't change anything. You think that is the best that they could hope for. You think that that's the best that they... You think if when we signed Rúben last year, and if we said to you, after 31 games, he's only going to win 8, you would say, yeah, I think that's the best we can expect.
I don't think it's the best anybody could expect, but you've seen the writing on the wall at that club for 3-4 years.
John, go back and look at Jimmy. Get up fucking Ten Hag's first 31
games. I'm the one.
I can't. I tried to Google Ten Hag.
I put United in my top 5 for this season. I thought United would be top 5. I thought and I said the caveat. I also put the caveat that they had to get the forward and the goalkeeper right, and they haven't. And if you put a goalkeeper who can save, look at the games this season. The game against Arsenal, competent goalkeeper. That's even a remotely competent goalkeeper. That ain't that game. He was directly at fault. The game against Grimsby, Jesus Christ, Onana gifting goals out in the place. Then the game, Jesus, what was the other game there? Burnley, the goalkeeper nearly threw that one away, and then watched it again yesterday. For the second goal, watch behind here. He's on the ground before the shot's taken. He's sitting on his hole before the shot's taken. His head is also turned away from the ball. If he stayed even halfway down and exactly where he was, he'd have taken the ball in straight clean in the snot. If he did fuck all, he took the ball in the snot, but he was on his hole. Like any other goalkeeper in the Premier, every other goalkeeper in the Premier League, that's a meat and drink save. Mm-hmm. Every other goalkeeper, he has.
Look, there's a goalie problem there,
directly or indirectly at fault for every single goal that they have conceded. Every one.
Is this not starting to sound a little bit Arsenal fan TV? I'm sorry, but we're here making like statistical excuses and one man.
I'm not making any excuses.
They lose all their games, lads.
It's not statistical. They don't win games. The goalkeeper being that shit.
But they don't win games under Amorim. They didn't win games under Ten Hag. Their attackers don't fucking score. Their defenders don't defend, and their goalies don't stop goals from going in. It's a shit show. Their stadium leaks. Like it's an unmitigated shit show that keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. And I say that with some very dear. Some of my best friends are United fans. You know, I'm cool with that. If that's how you want to live your life, whatever, go for it. I'm open minded. But it's just not working, and nothing seems to be working. And I'm surprised Amorim hasn't.
And he said yesterday, what he said, he said, I'd rather be fired than change my system or philosophy. I mean, how long do you?
His philosophy is high press, play with the wide players, get the ball in the box. It's why Gyökeres, and you were saying how great Gyökeres was. If you watch that Sporting team, his Sporting team ran City over 4-0.
Gyökeres has scored 3 in 4 games.
Yeah,
for Arsenal.
Yeah,
and you were fucking saying no, he's not the answer. He's not
the answer at Arsenal, and he won't be the answer at Arsenal.
Gyökeres has scored 1 goal less than Manchester United have this season.
Yeah,
but you keep defending.
Semenyo has scored 3 times the amount of goals as United by himself. Like, I'm saying that his sporting team put City over and put 4 past them 4-0. His system works with lower quality players when they actually want to fucking work, or for lower quality players who can do jobs. The goalkeeper is still fucking shit. Put whoever the fuck, put United's all-time best 11 in front of that goalkeeper, he still concedes a goal every game. Put Rio Ferdinand, Nemanja Vidic, Patrice Evra, Gary Neville, Dennis Irwin, make a team of defenders and put him in front of Bayindir, he still concedes a goal again. That's a fact. He's rubbish. He's a League One goalkeeper.
Yeah, but
I don't think Luke Shaw should ever start in United. I don't think Luke Shaw should ever start in United. Like, come on for the last 10 minutes or something. Come on for the last 10 minutes or something like that when we need fresh legs or something, but he should never be starting in another United.
I agree with that.
Honestly, like, I like the guy, and he's had his shit to deal with, like, but he's too slow. He's never been fit. I've never seen him fit. He has no pace anymore. I don't know what our starting team is anymore. Like Diallo or Ahmed, like I think he's unbelievable potential, but I could see his attitude going the way of Rashford and Sancho, sulking and just not being professional like some of the other players you see. And there's some games where he can be absolutely fire, and there's some games where against City where he just like. It's like he's just not even running after.
There's an issue in the background there because players have been allowed to behave like Sancho, like.
Well, the players are now coming out saying they're not happy with him, so like his days are numbered.
Players have said they weren't happy with Mourinho. The players said they weren't happy with.
And he got sacked. So I'm just saying the writing's on the wall. As soon as the players,
he'll be sacked. And the same cycle is going to happen again.
Yeah, well, you say that, John. But I would actually like to. I didn't do research. So I saw it. Listen. Okay, since January 2019, how many managers have we had?
We've
had 4. No, since January 2019, we've had 3 managers.
Yep.
Okay. Chelsea, who just won the Club World Cup, have had 7 managers since January 2019. Barcelona have had 6 managers. Bayern Munich have had 5 managers. Between 2002 and 2014. Real Madrid had 12 managers. In a 12-year period, they had 12 managers. Now, I'm not fucking saying, I'm not going to turn around and say here that we did same old thing, get rid of it. But it starts at the fucking top, man.
Because when Madrid were most successful, who was in charge?
What, manager?
Zidane for the whole Zidane, and then for their second wave, Ancelotti. So you've had a manager for a 5-year period and a 4-year period. So when they've actually been successful and not chopping and changing, there has been stability. Bayern, when they won their treble, Jan Pankas. He was there for years. You know what I mean? Like, when they're successful, aren't changing.
The making is that when they're successful, aren't changing. Them, they weren't afraid to change something.
Yeah, but the teams that are successful don't change.
We're not fucking successful.
This is the thing. So, like, are you going to keep chopping and changing the project every 2 years and keep recycling the squad? Because there's still players in that squad that Mourinho bought.
Yeah, I know. Not the fuck.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a bigger issue.
We need to do business in January. This whole business of fucking putting all of our money like in summer, is not good enough. Last year in January, City fucking paid 85 million for Marmoush, or 85 million for Marmoush, or might have been the January before that. We don't make those kind of signings anymore in January. With us, it's always a summer transfer window, another summer. There's no like damage control in January for United anymore, and they need to get out of that fucking mindset, and they need to look at the August until December, and they need to figure out what the problem is, and then they need to say, right, we need to fucking throw money at this problem now before we end up just sacking the manager. Because instead of buying more players in January, they just sack the manager in February or March instead. So they need to stop being afraid of the January transfer window. I just honestly try and buy fucking Watkins in January. I don't know, but if Sesko doesn't start stepping up in a play, we need to. If Sesko doesn't start stepping up and start scoring goals, we need to buy, even if it's on loan, a goal scorer in January, because
it will finally happen. I'll get Mitrovic at Man United.
Yeah.
Keep reaching for that rainbow, Johnny. It'll happen.
No,
mate.
he transferred from Qatar to Saudi Arabia this summer, so not happening.
I'm going to throw a name out there as the one that got away for United, and it's this Voltamad lad for Newcastle.
Yeah, can we be done with the Manchester Derby?
Yeah,
it's very upsetting. It's a very upsetting conversation because those of us who don't live that United lifestyle don't really want to hear about it. It's disgusting.
And then you have to deal with fucking Republic of Ireland as well.
Who?
Oh
yeah, no. We upset ourselves with that last week. That was some tough stuff. Gary had a beautiful rant there.
Can I actually give a little shout out to a little piece of Irish football today?
Absolutely.
Fairview from Limerick
did
the clean sweep National Cup, the All Ireland North and South competition. 5 trophies available to them at amateur level. 5 trophies won. Don't know how many times that's been done, but like a team in Limerick, a team from our hometown, Limerick, doing all of the trophies at junior level is like, so the FAI National Cup here is actually the largest amateur football competition in the world, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know that. So like the FA Cup, obviously it has that pro and non-pro, so it's a bigger cup competition, but in terms of amateur only, that is the biggest amateur one. So a team from Limerick doing that, like, I think, kudos to them, fair play.
Fairview have been so obscenely dominant in Ireland for well over 50 years. My uncle played for them. He was a striker for them, and he got a cap for Ireland. My cousin was a striker for them, scored shit tons of goals as well. I have friends who played for them. They've just been so consistent. I don't know
they're one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, they're so well run.
It's themselves. You have like themselves, Sheriff, St. Kevin's, Home Farm, Cherry Orchard. By the way, all those other teams.
If Fairview went into League of Ireland, honestly, if Fairview went to League of Ireland, they would.
Well, the Division 3 is happening next year, and it's Crewe Park Limerick, who are the entry from Limerick, by the way. So Crewe United, Crewe Park FC are now Crewe Limerick United or something like. Anyway, that's my little. I'm more than happy to talk Irish junior football at any point in time with anybody, but that's because, and just to get us back on track, Statter, we are sponsoring, obviously, the Somerville Rovers, my team's training gear, so that's, Statter's little piece back in the community and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And it's good stuff to be doing. But anyway, back on about at Statter, we do good things. See, just keeping it back on track with the show. But yes, you wanted to talk about this. Jimmy, can we talk about this large fella who makes Dan Burn look small up front at Newcastle? I want him.
Last seen flossing his teeth with Sandro Tonali. He's quite a good finisher of the old ball, isn't he? He's quite a good finisher, that one.
Huge.
I know Newcastle made harder work than they probably should have this week of Wolves, but he put it in the hole. And that I think is maybe what the team we're not talking about anymore need. If you've got one of those, it's great. And if you don't have one of those, you're in serious fucking stuck in a league that competitive. But he looks the business. Am I right in saying he was like a 25, 30 million?
No, they overpaid for him. He was 70 or something like that. But he's 6'6", by the way.
Well, I don't think they buy them per pound, but
I think you do. How much was he? I have no idea. Let me double check
here.
69 million. So ended up being 75 million, 90 million euros all in total if he hits all of his things.
Like, I just got this mental image of Eddie Howe, right, with 2 giant sacks of money on his back, both branded with the Liverpool crest, walking up to the footballer shop at the last minute of the window and going, I need the most expensive striker you can give me immediately.
Well, they did, because they bought 2.
Who else they got?
Who else did they get? Who was the
Transfer
other one?
deadline day was insane this year.
There was so much.
Absolutely insane. Sorry, I must have missed something there. I know they picked up Elanga and Wissa, didn't they?
Wissa was the other one. There it is. Wissa and Vultamendi came in on the deadline day. Elanga obviously was earlier. Jacob Ramsey. Those were the ones. But so, yeah, they basically got rid of Isaac and dropped that money left on Wissa and right on Vultamendi. They basically changed their front line with Wissa. Vissa, Valtabenji, and Alanga, and that keeps then Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes on the sides.
Yeah, spotted that all right. Now, Barnes was on for the first half of this game.
He was.
Alanga came on for him, I think.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Alanga pop off because it's the Alanga thing's been waiting to happen for years.
He's already clocked the fastest speed already this season.
Yeah.
See,
not at all surprised.
The thing, 36.6 or something. Like, there's fellas like Van de Ven who'll hit that speed, right? The thing is, he's hitting that speed on a regular basis. It's kind of terrifying. He's hitting that speed and then doing it in the net. Like, he might hit that speed once in a game. But, like, it means that his other runs are not far off it when he goes full tilt. He's lightning. And a team like Newcastle like to play with their giant back four.
Yeah.
Like, they're just a team of giants. Like,
featuring greatest player of all time, Fabian Schär. Greatest player of all time, Fabian Schär.
Dean's favourite, Fabian Schär.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe has just created a team. Nick Pope is the goalkeeper, and in front of him you've got a Schär, you've got a Dan Byrne, and then you've got Kieran Trippier, whose job is basically to throw the ball in at these lads. And then now you've got a 6'6" striker. So God forbid Dan Byrne doesn't get the header from the corner or the free kick. You've only got these other monsters. It's almost like Newcastle have a game plan. Here, let's soak up pressure, hit it to these really, really pacey wingers, and then hit the giant man in the box. Very simple football, really, isn't it?
If I'm going to do something I did quite a bit on here and say keep an eye on this player. I think Alanga is still coming in under the radar for all of that we talk about him. He's 8 points per game this season. But that's off the back of about 50 minutes a match. So I would be advising that our dear listeners pay very, very close attention to anything about Newcastle injuries, because he can fill in for a number of people who run very, very fast, but he won't be as worn as the ones we hit kind of November, December. If and when Anthony Gordon gets suspended or Wissa gets injured, I think with full games, we should start seeing him in the team of the week here and there if Alanga gets the opportunity. Keep an eye on that one. Keep an eye out there.
Wolves are bad. Yeah. Wolves are also bad, and they did make hard work of it. As I also wanted to say the Fulham game against Leeds. I know I touched on it earlier. Look, Fulham do have assets. Leeds have assets. Like they have a couple of defensive assets, like Gudmundsson up until that little dirty bit in injury time. Like, his points were very high. Like, he took a bad hit because of the OG. But, like, he's not going to...
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. We're actually not super mean about...
No, I know that. Because... It's still a hit. He was having a fine week up until that point. And, like, it's also the difference between a win or draw and a loss in this case as well. But defensive contributions, he's huge. Your man Stash is a very, very, very busy midfielder. They're lacking out the front end. I know your man Ncheka or whatever. I can't pronounce his name properly, to be honest. But he's a foul magnet. He's averaging like 3 fouls a game. So like they're getting loads of free kicks up in that area. He's winning lots of fouls, but like they have no firepower, which is why they were looking at players like Muniz, Vissa. They were throwing around a bit of money trying to find forwards and ended up with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who missed the sitter. And sure, it's only a matter of time before his hamstring goes again. So if you're looking at Leeds, you're looking at Stash, you're looking at Gudmundsson. I think stick with those defensive players.
Yeah, I don't see past Stash at Leeds. I'm just looking at it right now. I've got Roden on 12 a week. Gudmundsson, like you said, took a hit, brought him down to 11 a week. And good old Pascal Strike is still there on 10 a week. There's nothing else there of excitement. Dan James, maybe. As the season progresses.
No, what he's getting there, that's his line. That's what he is.
You reckon?
Yeah, he's
another one who attracts free kicks and stuff. Like, he's fast enough player, but
he wins a lot of fouls. He runs very fast up and down the pitch, but essentially that's his job. Here, get back, run, chase that guy. Now you run that way really fast, and we'll try find you so we can get up the pitch quickly. That's essentially his role. It's not a complaint or anything like that, but I would say that's about, apart from the weeks where he gets his kick, like he's going to finish the season with maybe 5 goals and 4 assists. Like that, that's about what he's going to do. Let's say.
I am not a proponent of picking up Leeds players. I don't think there's
Stash and Gudmundsson are the two to look at. On the Fulham side, Anthony Robinson is obviously the job. Bernd Leno is top 5 goalkeepers again this year. He is top 5 goalkeeper again this year.
Leno did this last year. He did this last
every
year.
He's a
He
consistent.
does it for 6 weeks, and then he does it for 6 weeks, and then he just crumbles like the old man that he is. He was one of the lowest scoring in our league last year. Across the 21st pick, he was one of the lowest scoring, and I know this because he was fucking nailed onto my team every week because I was like, he's just a little old. It'll come good. It'll be okay again. It was never okay again, John. It was never okay again.
Well, he's top 5 goalkeepers at the moment. Anthony Robinson is coming back into fitness. Sessegnon obviously had a good week. Your man Kevin looks interesting in the attacking spaces, and Josh King is just going to be a guarantee for minutes. But if you want an out, like those are your ones. Like Sasha Lukic is oddly taking the corners. The problem there is you used to have a Pereira who was taking corners, and he was also like the hammy techie guy, so he'd get his couple of assists. So those jobs are even being spread around different players there. So
I'd be very interested to know. To talk about keepers, I'd be very interested to know how many points Dubravka got this week. He faced 13 shots on target and only ended up conceding to.
Of course, you want to know about
very unfortunate handball by Hannibal.
It was a silly handball. We'll talk about that game now, actually.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Burnley. Absolute sickener. Because like
they was also a shit game where Everton tried 19%. Villa couldn't.
Yeah.
Sunderland Palace was, I'd say they could still be playing that match now, and they just would never score. Both teams wanted to score, they just couldn't.
I think there was 2 goals in the first half of across all the 3 o'clock games, and there was a lot of games on this weekend. Yeah, it was a very boring weekend. Yeah, there was one.
Bournemouth did
2 1-0ers, 2 0-alls.
Yeah,
actually, Liverpool won 1-0 as well. And Liverpool won 1-0, and they didn't score until beyond extra time. Fulham won 1-0. That was after extra time. So we basically had fucking 4 games go 90 minutes and 0-all this weekend.
Yeah.
But this is like, look, I didn't think about this now when I was doing my predictions, right? So I got most teams right. I didn't get scores right, but then if I got scores right, fuck me, so that's savant shit. So I got scores drastically wrong in a couple of places, but I got the good results right. But like what I saw then when I was doing a bit of research for tonight was that on average after international breaks, so on a normal Premier League weekend, you expect like 2.7 goals per game or something like that. And after an international break, it drops to 1.6 to 1.9. Mm-hmm. So like your expected goals per game nearly drops by a third after, because the lads are flying from home from here, there, and everywhere across the globe. Like, do you know what I mean? Which I get it. In hindsight, it makes sense because you would have had someone like a Casemiro who would have flown in from Brazil on Thursday for a match on Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean all of that.
That's why this is why players like Suarez would have got extended breaks after coming home from Uruguay. You would have had, like, South American players are flying 13 hours. It doesn't matter if you're in a private jet or not. You're still flying many hours.
That's really important from a fantasy point of view, because if you look down through last week's fixtures, I don't remember the last time 10 teams kept a clean sheet, which is why we had that massive swing in the points towards defenders again this week. We ended up with 4 at the back in the team of the week. I think that there may be a trap here for people. I think people are going to be looking at the form and the trending for their players, and they're probably going to overestimate the value of defenders for the week ahead, because everything is elastic and this will snap back. Next week, there will be more goals because the strikers and the lads who are rested will be fucking up for it again. So if you're looking at your team right now and you're thinking, hey, maybe now is the time for 5 at the back. Defenders are doing well. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Over at our site, over at the friends over next door, over at the Pand and whatnot, like all of my defensive players kept clean. All of them, my back 5, all had clean sheets this weekend. Like I was a North 80 week this week. It's because all of my defenders.
It was a good week to play a back 5, but I don't think there's another one coming.
No. But this was only because I did my bit of research for this and went, oh shit, goals really dry up after internationals. And now that I know the logic, but I didn't know this when I wrote my predictions a week ago because I'm an idiot. So, but now this is now something I'm going to actually try to keep a log of, not even a log of, but I'm going to be aware of it after international breaks now. Lead with my defense. I can't believe this is my problem with this. This is my only downside about this podcast. I'm obviously giving up key tactical.
No, I think that's brilliant, John. Seeing as we've all just discussed how this week was weird, I think you should definitely base your long-term strategy on this week.
After international breaks, yeah.
Oh, after international. I thought you meant in general, because I was going to say, man, you should play 6 at the back.
No, that's
Hashtag
what I'm
Iron
saying.
Walls.
There's a trend for after international breaks of lean into my defenders after international breaks, because the games are going to be a bit slower after lads are wrecked from flying around the world.
And they're going to be more wrecked next year, aren't they? Now that we've got one big international break instead of 2 little ones.
Mm-hmm.
No, but see, net positive here.
Net positive, maybe, but I mean, this fatigue effect that you're talking about, where some of the lads need rest and some of the strikers aren't as energetic as normal. I mean, it was Haaland who scored this weekend, all the goals, and he doesn't really play international, not really. So this means next year the lads will be double tired because they'll have had 2 or 3 international games before they come back, and there'll be one big fuck-off break in September, October for anybody who missed that news. Doesn't this mean that your theory is going to get tested and probably has, actually, when you think about it, your theory or your facts actually on the gap of goals after the international breaks is probably going to be more pronounced next season?
Yes.
Is there an international break next season considering the World Cup?
Yes, because you'll be qualifiers at that point. So what I was actually saying before the weather kicked me out temporarily was that when you look at after the international breaks and stuff like this, so right now you have 2 2-weekers. You have a 2 week at the start of the season, you have a 2 week then coming up in 2 weeks' time in October. So instead of having 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, what you'll have is 1 3-week band. So from even a jet lag perspective, there's more recovery time on the flip side, because they'll be finished their game a little earlier and there'll be that bit more recovery time. So it is a player welfare check, but it also means instead of 2 2-2s, it's 1 band of 3. They can play the 4 international games in that window the same way, Saturday, Wednesday, and the boys are home Thursday then for their Premier League fixture. Grand. But it also means more contact hours with your at international. So for a team like Ireland who are trying to get a fucking system together, when the lads are finishing a Premier League game on Sunday, landing in on a Monday morning, match then on a Thursday, they're getting 48 hours, of prep time. Then they're traveling for their away game. Then they have 1 day prep. Then they play the game and then they fly home.
So all right.
So from both perspectives here, it makes sense, and it's a week better for us because it means that we don't have 2 extended breaks. We just have 1, and that's when you can be doing your team resetting and things like that, where you can be watching to see who gets injured. And it also means that right now, the international break is right after the international window, so nobody got to see the new shiny toys until this weekend. Now that it'll be at the end of September, we get to see the new shiny toys for a couple of weeks. And lads just thrown in the deep end, which means also Sunday of transfer deadline day was also the day that team players were going traveling for international duty unless they were in the midst of a transfer, which means a better transfer deadline day because all the lads are at home and wild things can happen because they're not going to be on an airplane somewhere.
Okay. You're selling it beautifully.
That's
do you know? Does the prosecution have anything to add? Or?
No, I was just saying, just in terms of playing lots of games and fatigue and all that, there is Champions League this weekend, so that'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on in terms of who's playing who. United have Chelsea this weekend, so they might only lose by 2 goals instead of 3.
So positive.
Are Aston Villa in the? Did Aston Villa end up in Europa? Yeah, so I mean, Sunderland, considering Villa's form and Sunderland's form, and Sunderland will have a break, whereas Villa won't. Maybe we're looking at some again the likes of Xhaka. Liverpool Everton as well, Merseyside derby.
That is a stick it on. That's a stick it on Isaac, isn't it? Hello, here's my debut at Liverpool.
I wonder if they'll rest him for Champions League, and bring him on.
I think he gets minutes in the Champions League, maybe half an hour off the bench, and then drop him into the deep end in the Merseyside derby. There's your script.
Yeah.
Arsenal City, lads, call it. I think that's the one to watch anyway. Is
Arsenal City.
The main event. Yeah.
I think I'd rather go with a 90-minute sleep. That game's going to be misery to watch.
I think Arsenal. Even though they hammered United the weekend, a lot of commentators are saying this isn't the best City team we've seen in a few years. I think Arsenal are I know they lost in their, not last week, but the week before. But I think Arsenal at home. These are the games they need to win. These are the games that they need to be winning if they want to win the league. And I think they have a big opportunity to say 3 important points now this weekend. And yeah, I think they'll win. But one, maybe it might be a 1-0, maybe 2-1, maybe. But I don't see them going out hammering them. But yeah,
I'm gonna make an unpleasant call now. I'm gonna say that both Burnley and Wolves win this week.
well, Wolves and Leeds.
I win the game. Wolves could go down as the worst Premier League team of all time.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah,
they beat Leeds.
They held Liverpool to the death. Yeah,
I think they weren't as terrible as usual.
I think that's got draw. I think
that's
draw written all over.
It does, doesn't it?
Wolves,
I think both of those, both Wolves and Burnley, showed last week that they can actually play a little bit
Jimi,
when they're under. Like they're going to get killed, and then they barely lose 1-0. They could do it at home.
And Burnley had 19% possession. You know, I mean, they defended. You could say they defended well, but.
Are Burnley going to win a game of football anytime soon? Because like they have Spurs this week coming, they have Chelsea the week after.
Oh, I thought we talked about this. This is the winter of misery. This is the frozen seagull winter. I can't see Brighton winning a game this side of Halloween with the fixtures they have. And
then you have Wolves at the first week of October.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's not Halloween. Halloween's at the end of October, isn't it? Yeah, no. It'll be October before there's a win. I think Chelsea are in there and City, and it's just all a horrible, horrible shit show until you just wish everything was dead. Oh, no, the Wolves game. That's not too bad. And then after that, yeah, maybe they'll get a bit of momentum, and then it's Newcastle, and then there's United. There's always United.
There's always that.
So that's
right. So quick one for you. Just give me one player and one player only that you're going to say is your lock for this weekend, and then we wrap it up. Isaac for me.
I'm just gonna pick. Do you know, because I've been just going on about him, I'm just gonna say Xhaka. Feck it. Go on. He's going with 2 good games in a row.
That's slowly increasing form. Defenders, Merseyside derby. Big Virgil for me.
Not beat Tarek.
No, not this week.
Not this week.
Not this week.
All right, cool. In that case, Jimmy, where can people find the information?
I'm pointing at the wrong side again. This always confuses me. They can find it at StatrDraft.com. That's STATOR-draft.com. You'll also see a brief rundown of our team of the week within the next day or so, and all sorts of other bits and pieces to fill the dull times that we call midweek before the lovely football numbers start flying again, which can't come too soon, but we do have to wait a little. So in between, be at StatrDraft.com.
Fantastic. Dean, I still do love you, and I will miss you all, and I'll see you all next week.